In the kitchen, and today's show is all about keeping things light, but let me tell you, I gotta have dessert and
and chocolate.
Yeah, and chocolate. I'm not gonna skip that. And so we're in the kitchen with pastry chef Lindsay Brooks, who is a caterer. She does wedding cakes and desserts for any special occasion. Now even doing some personal chef business and things like that.
Yeah,
so
I've been very busy, so it's been wonderful.
And also the pastry chef at
The Seasons
in
yes.
Appleton. So you might want to try her pastries there. Save room for dessert. So I am always giving Lindsay these tasks. I said, you got to make some fabulous desserts that are almost guilt-free, but they've got to taste great. So chocolate mousse?
So I took my chocolate mousse, I knocked out the sugar, and I knocked out the eggs. Still kept a little bit of the heavy cream, but at least got rid of half the fat there, so the sugar.
And I didn't even think about it, but it would pair great dessert to that niçoise salad that we made earlier.
Yeah,
even kind of with the whole French thing going. All right, so chocolate mousse. Get me started here.
So the first thing I do is there's caramel going back here. Whenever you just pull it off the heat, we'll work on that in just a second.
So caramel, what would we put in here to create caramel?
Equal parts water and sugar. So 1 cup water, 1 cup sugar, and you just let it kind of simmer. It'll take probably 15 to 20 minutes. When it gets that amber, golden brown, it'll start to smell nice and toasted.
It does.
You're just going to pull it off the heat, and we'll add heavy cream in a minute to that.
Okay.
All right, so in this bowl, we're going to make the chocolate mixture.
Okay.
So you've got dark chocolate chips in front of you. If you like milk, you can use milk, but if you're counting your calories a little bit, darker is actually better for you. This is 1.5 ounces of straight espresso.
Okay.
Just a pinch of butter, not a whole lot, just down to about half a tablespoon in here.
Okay.
To kind of give it a nice silky texture.
Okay.
And then just a splash of any type of dark rum. And if you wanted to measure, it'd be about a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
And then you're just going to melt that over the heat, Amy.
Okay, so it's basically a double boiler. Could you even do this in the microwave if you were very, very careful?
Very, very careful.
Okay,
and that butter will help it from not burning too.
Great, so boiling water, we've got a Pyrex bowl, and if you don't have a double boiler, you can create your own.
And we're just going to bring that to melt it together.
Okay.
And I'm going to whip up about 1 cup of heavy cream here.
Okay.
And again, there's no sugar or anything else going in here. It's just that heavy whipping cream. And you want it nice and cold.
Okay.
And the faster you can whip it, the better it'll turn out for you.
Sorry, no. It's really good. With a little bit of coffee in there.
Yeah, and that rum. Now, the other thing that I didn't talk about yet is gelatin. Because we're not using any eggs in here, it's not going to thicken up at all. So we've got a little bit of gelatin to replace that with. So I kept out a couple tablespoons of cold, heavy whipping cream.
Okay.
And then just the Knox unflavored gelatin, about a teaspoon, that just sanded over the top. And I did that about 15 minutes ago, and it's got nice and kind of thick skin on top of it. That's good. I'm going to melt it in the microwave for just about 15 seconds, and we'll add that to the chocolate then.
Okay. So that's going to be our thickener and trying to make it silky.
Correct.
Chocolate's looking really good, starting to melt.
All right, I'm going to let that sit. We'll finish the caramel right now. And you're going to drizzle in the heavy cream.
Now, Lindsay was telling me you have to be really careful when you do this. This is something you don't want to do. Have the kids stand back if you're doing it.
The caramel's at about 400 and some degrees. Ooh. So when you go to add in that cream, it's gonna bubble. It's gonna pop a little bit. So you're just gonna slowly drizzle it in. You can kind of do it in a circle. It's cooled a little bit, so it shouldn't bubble up too much.
Ooh, look at that. The only other time I've made caramel, I think, is with you.
Yeah. And so we started out with 1 cup water, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup heavy cream, all equal parts.
Okay.
So.
And just stir that together?
Yep. And that's all it is for the caramel.
Yum. This smells amazing. It smells like, when you go into one of those candy stores, and they're making turtles or whatever. Wow.
So there's a lot of different caramels. You can add butter to that if you're going for a little bit silkier, smoother texture, a little bit of butter at the end. But again, we're going to omit that and still have a really nice product.
Wow, it's gorgeous. Starting to get a little sticky.
Perfect.
Okay.
So this was the heavy cream and the gelatin. Threw it in the microwave for just maybe 15, 20 seconds to melt it.
Okay.
And you're just going to fold that all together, Amy. And last but not least is the heavy whipping cream.
Okay.
And you can just kind of mix the two of them together. You're going to fold it together real quickly.
Because we want to keep it light.
Keep it, very light. And some of that kind of cream will melt into the chocolate. You'll have a nice, smooth consistency.
Should you do it while it's warm, or should you let that, I mean, in this case we did it while it was warm. Should you let that chocolate mixture cool a little bit normally?
You know, that's why we have the gelatin in there to be that safety net.
Okay.
But if you were omitting the gelatin, didn't have it at your house, definitely want to let things get to be room temperature before you actually fold them in.
Okay. Get that last bit of cream in there. Okay.
So the chocolate's got the rum and it's got the espresso in it.
Okay.
And I like to put a little bit of spice when I have my espresso and my rum together. So the spice is going to go into the caramel. So you've got your caramel sauce over there done, ready to go. This is Chipotle powder.
Really?
Penzi spices carry it. Otherwise, you could use a pinch of cayenne or dark chili powder if you had that at home. And you're just going to go with maybe a fourth of a teaspoon, if that.
Really?
Just enough to give it a little spice to it.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have ever thought of doing that, you know?
It kind of helps wake up those taste buds a little bit. Again, with that coffee and the rum in there, I like
Is it kind of like the idea of putting salt in your chocolate chip cookie batter,
Yep.
or sometimes they'll put, you know, chocolate in a Malay sauce or something, you know, that hold that sweet and that little bit of salty.
Yep, and the pepper goes right through it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got nice big cocktail glasses. If you wanted to go with small little ramekins to monitor your portion, you could definitely do that.
Okay.
The ones that I had done, I put chocolate in the rim of the glass before I even started. Just for a little decoration.
Or you could even do these in little shot glasses if you want to really keep it light. I mean, it's so rich, you don't need a lot of it.
No,
probably.
you definitely don't need a lot. And you could serve some fresh berries on the side of it then, and serve a full dessert.
Sure. So this basically just poured in?
Yep.
I'm assuming this is going to go in the fridge for a little bit to set up.
It will take at least an hour. 4 hours is great if you had it.
Okay.
Let me help you with that one.
Thank you. Chocolate mousse is not that hard to do. It really isn't. I remember making it for the first time. There's a million different ways to make it, but it's so worth it. It's amazing.
Yep, and the traditional French way's got some whipped egg whites and egg yolks in there, but you don't have to do it that way.
No.
By all means, you can still get a nice product off of this way.
Now, the caramel would then get drizzled on top when you're all done?
Yep, the caramel should get back to room temperature,
Okay.
or have your dessert cooler so it can be drizzled on top. So those in the fridge, Deb can have those later.
Look, we will. Let me tell you. So we'll drizzle some of the Chipotle caramel on top. Oh my goodness. You got to find me a spoon.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me see if I can dig out a spoon for you.
That looks amazing. By the way, the recipe's on our website. Coming up, we're going to make some more delicious light recipes, and we're also going to show you how to use candles to kind of lighten up the mood and set a beautiful table. Thanks, Lindsay. I got to try this.